Hello everyone, this is the MTA website, and I'm going to show you it has a lot of mistakes there which they have failed to fix itself. Let's go right into this right now, in particular two areas here. The first area here is elevator and escalator status. Let's go right into this. You click on elevator and escalator status. It gives you a status of elevators and escalators within the MTA network grouped by three areas. Subway for New York City Subway, LIRR for the Long Railroad, and MNR for Metro North Railroad. These two, LIRR and MNR, Metro North Railroad, we will not discuss because they're okay. It's regards to subways. In this subway section, it lists the station name, the location, the line served, the estimated return, and the reason why the elevator is out, as well as the travel alternatives. Reasons are grouped into two categories. Capital replacement, which would take you to a link that will show you how elevators have been replaced. They're usually replaced with full replacement of the elevator calf and the modifications of all machinery and equipment. That usually takes about 6 to 9 months, sometimes a year, depending on the complexity of the project. So that is pretty much understandable how long these elevators must be out. However, when we go into the directions here, travel alternatives here, the last column, it shows where the MTA gets things mixed up to its customers. Let's take one example. 66th Street and Lincoln Center on the number one line. I'm just scrolling down directly to this. It's an easy one to pick out. It has two elevators. It's served by the number one line. One elevator goes to the downtown platform. One elevator, the second one, goes to the uptown platform. They both go from street level to the platform level where the fare control area is. And the estimated return is July 31st of this year due to capital replacement. Let's look at the travel alternatives starting with the uptown elevator right here. I'm going to click on this. If you are on the street, cross Broadway to take a downtown 1 to 59th Street Columbus Circle. So it tells you to cross Broadway to take a downtown 1 train. So you would have to take the elevator across Broadway on the downtown 1 side. Wait, let's go back here. What did I just say? I just said that the downtown elevator is out of service until July 31st due to capital replacement, and that was the travel alternatives. Now let's look at the travel alternatives for the elevator on the downtown side. Right here. It says if you're on the street, cross Broadway and use the elevator to take a uptown 1 train to 72nd Street. Wait a second. I just mentioned that the elevator on the uptown 1 side was already out. Additionally, it says that if you're on the platform, take a downtown 1 train to 59th Street, use the elevator to transfer to uptown 1 to 66th Street Lincoln Center, but the elevator at the uptown platform is already out. So how can you do this? Or exit the elevator at 59th Street Columbus Circle and then take the uptown buses, M5 Limited, M7, and M104 to Broadway and West 61st Street. So in essence, their long-term construction capital placement elevators at this station, 66 Lincoln Center, shows that both elevators are out, yet they direct you to take one elevator to another. Now let's look at a more complex one. Let's look at Queens Plaza and Roosevelt Avenue, Jackson Heights. Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue, 74th Street. Elevators are not working between the Manhattan-bound 7 platform from the mezzanine area, as well as the street level to Manhattan-bound 7 platform as well as the Flushing Main Street bound platform, and transfer elevator here. So let's see, 2 elevators in good service, but 2 elevators are not working. Let's look here, which 2 elevators are working. The mezzanine to the Forest Hills and the transfer mezzanine are working. But let's look at this. Let's take the Manhattan-bound 7 platform that the elevator is out. It tells you the travel alternatives are as follows. If you're on the Manhattan-bound platform, take Manhattan-bound train to 61st Street, then either use elevators to transfer to Flushing Main Street bound 7 to 74th Street Broadway or exit station, then take the bus. Now, use elevators to transfer to Flushing Main Street bound 7 to 74th Street Broadway. Let's go back to where it says that the elevator is out to do capital placement. The other elevator says that the Roosevelt Avenue to Manhattan bound 7 mezzanine, Flushing Main Street bound 7 platform, meaning that the directions that it tell you to take from the Manhattan bound 7 platform, that's this elevator here, tell you to go to 61st Street Woodside and then double back to 74th Street Broadway on Flushing bound 7 train, where the elevator for the Flushing bound 7 platform is not working. So that's strike 1. Strike 2. Let's look at the elevator that serves the street level to the Manhattan bound 7 mezzanine, as well as the same elevator going to the Flushing Main Street bound 7 platform, and transfer mezzanine for access to EFM Mall. So it's a 4-stop elevator. This one elevator serves the street level to when you come into fare control to the Manhattan bound 7 mezzanine, intermediate stop for the transfer mezzanine for access to EFMR service, as well as the Flushing Main Street bound 7 platform. So let's look at the travel alternatives here. If you're on the street for EFMR to Manhattan, take a Manhattan-bound Q32 bus to Queens Plaza. Let's go to Queens Plaza. This is the first set of instructions. Now let's go to the station Queens Plaza and see what's there. We'll come back to this. Remember, it tells you to take the train, the EFMR train that goes towards Manhattan. You have to take the Manhattan-bound Q32 bus to Queens Plaza. So let's look at Queens Plaza once you're on the Q32 and once you get there. Hold on 1 second. Let's go down to Queens Plaza. Wait, Queens Plaza shows that the elevator from the street level of Queens Plaza, Jackson Avenue, where you have taken the Q32 bus to, is out of service. Both elevators from the mezzanine, which is the middle area between the street level and the 2 platforms, are both out. These elevators are all out until July 31st of this year due to capital replacement. So going back to the instructions at 71st Street, Roosevelt Avenue, Jackson Heights Complex, your travel alternatives were to take that bus to Queens Plaza, which is wrong. So now for the 7 train, you proceed to the terminal, proceed to bus terminal and take the bus to Woodside. Okay, if you're on the Manhattan-bound 7 mezzanine, take the Manhattan-bound 7 to Woodside, exit station, take the bus to Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue. Okay, if you're on the transfer mezzanine, take an EM&R to Queens Plaza, exit station, and take a Jackson Heights bound Q32 bus to 76 and Roosevelt Avenue. Or take an EFMR to 71st Street, Forest Hills Avenue. 71st Avenue, Forest Hills. So, you cannot take an elevator from the transfer mezzanine to get to the EM&R to Queens Plaza. My apologies, the F train does not stop at Queens Plaza. You cannot do that. Or if you're on the Queens-bound 7 platform, Take a Flushing-bound 7 platform to Junction Boulevard. Use elevators to transfer Manhattan-bound 7 to 74th Street Broadway. And I just said that the elevator to the Manhattan-bound 7 at 74th Street Broadway was out of service. Period. To transfer to M&R, take a Regal Park 72-bound Q72 bus to Junction Boulevard, Roosevelt Avenue, to the bus terminal 63rd Street. But you get the idea how confusing it is. Now, let's go back to Queens Plaza where I told you that the elevators are out of service. Where it tells you the street level elevator, mezzanine, travel alternatives. If you're on the street, you have to take the Jackson Heights bound Q32 bus to Roosevelt Avenue, 74th Street for EF&R service at Jackson Heights, Roosevelt Avenue. I just mentioned that the elevator from the street to the EF and M and R trains are out of service. Now, if you're on the platform, let's say you're on the mezzanine or you're on the platform between the mezzanine and both the Jamaica-bound platform or the Manhattan-bound platform, use the elevator at the other end of the mezzanine to take the Manhattan-bound E and M. The elevators are out. There's no elevator here. Again, there's no elevator here. Now, mezzanine to Manhattan-bound platform. If you're on the mezzanine, use the elevator in the mezzanine to take a Jamaica Center-bound train. Again, I'll go back to that. Mezzanine to Forest Hills. Use the elevator in the mezzanine to take a Manhattan-bound E or M to Lexington Avenue. You cannot take an elevator, period. Wherever you're going, they get so screwed up. They do this to Fordham Road. There's Fordham Road. All 3 elevators at the 4-line station are out. And it tells you use nearby elevator, take a Woodlawn bound 4 to Woodlawn. That tells you it's out too. Boom. Mezzanine to Woodlawn bound platform. If you're on the platform, take a Woodlawn bound 4, then remain on the train way at the front from Manhattan bound 4 to Fordham Road. But the elevator at Fordham Road was out too. If you're on the street, that's the one for Jerome Avenue and Fordham Road, to mezzanine for service in both directions. And remember, these elevators are out until October 31st of this year. So if you're on the street, proceed, continue 188 Grand Concourse, take the bus, that's fine. If you're on the mezzanine, see a station agent, see you enter the fare gate, and use the elevator to take a downtown Fort 170th Street. Again, the elevator at Fordham Road from the mezzanine to the downtown or uptown 4 trains are out until October of this year. Unbelievable. Unbelievable here. Let's look at 34th Street Penn Station. Right here, or better yet, 125th Street. 125th Street, mezzanine to downtown platform, out to September 30th. Part of the travel alternatives tell you to take the B&D uptown to 161st Street Yankee Stadium. Right here, for B&D, take an uptown B&D to 161st Street Yankee Stadium. And go to 161st Street Yankee Stadium, and it shows that all elevators are out of service. Go figure this out. All of them. All 5 elevators shown right here are out of service until July 31st of this year. Some are out to June. Some are out to December of this year. So there may be partial restoration this summer, hopefully during Yankee baseball season. But knowing the MTA's logic, it doesn't look that way. Here's 34th Street Penn Station, Manhattan. 2 elevators out of 3, out of 4 are out. 1 to the downtown C&E platform, local platform. 1 to the concourse to the A platform serving uptown and downtown trains. So there is street elevator access, and there's elevator access to the uptown platform. So let's look at the travel alternatives. If you're on the platform, take a downtown A to 14th Street and transfer to uptown C or E local to 34 Penn. If you're on the mezzanine, take an uptown CE and transfer a to transfer downtown, or use elevators exit station, use ramps to transfer to downtown E. So if you're on a mezzanine, you can't take the downtown A. Well, okay. Yeah. So let's say take a downtown A to 14th Street. Okay, so all right, let's go back to 14th Street. Yeah, 14th Street, mezzanine to downtown A&E platform. Out of service until Saturday, May 31st. Capital replacement. Travel alternatives. What does it tell you? Take Uptown A to 34th Street Penn Station and transfer across the platform to downtown A. Fine, you can do that. Or exit through the fare gates and use the elevator to exit the station. Then take a Lincoln Center bound bus to downtown A and CE service. You cannot take a downtown A or CE from Penn Station because there's no downtown AC and E service at 34th Street Penn Station. As we go back to that, it's funny how I mention these things here, because I mentioned here in the customer service inquiry, including a case number 065 06051449. Our elevators are out on 161st Street for replacement. They did correct most of it. And I mentioned that you also check Queens Plaza, 74 Broadway, Roosevelt as well. You have directions from one station to the other here. And they did acknowledge it. They did acknowledge it, have been passed us along as well. So that's about it. I'll make another video about the mismanagement funds.